Good afternoon, everyone. We're happy you're able to join us for our Social Security webinar this afternoon. Before we begin, I want to let everyone know that for purposes of this webinar, we have all the lines on mute and videos turned off. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to send us an email or contact us during our business hours. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have, schedule an appointment if you'd like a detailed analysis, if there's any of this that we can help you out with. So, as many of you know, my name is Dane Williams, and I am joined by Tyler Thompson as well. Tyler and I often work with clients to help them find a Social Security strategy that best suits their needs. And so we're really excited to provide you with these insights today and hope that many of your questions about Social Security will be answered, or at least get you to a point where we can point you in the right direction based on the knowledge that you're going to hopefully gain within the next 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Tyler now to introduce our speaker. Tyler, it's all yours.
Hello, everyone. As Dane mentioned, my name is Tyler Thompson, and I am a financial advisor with Howe Financial Services. Today, we are very lucky to be joined by Philip Poonoosamy with Great American Insurance Group. Philip is part of the financial institutions team at Great American and acts as a resource to help advisors find suitable investment solutions. As Dane mentioned, one of the primary services that we provide to our clients is that of financial planning. And a very important piece of everyone's plan is Social Security. So today, Philip is going to provide some important insights and information on the topic of Social Security. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Philip and hope you enjoy the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dane. Thank you, Tyler. And thank you all for joining us. I know it's crazy times right now, and so we're trying to provide some education any way we can. I really hope that you take some tidbits away from this, but please, as most important thing is to go to your partners at Howell if you have any follow-up questions, want to dig a little deeper. And I'm going to go ahead and start this presentation. Hopefully, if you have any questions, I know that they're more than welcome to answer. And then maybe at the end, I think Tyler and Dave might say a few words. So let's get this started here. All right, well, as I said, I'm from Great American Insurance, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Social Security aspect. There's a lot of factors to consider when planning Social Security and retirement. Please keep in mind that everyone's situation is just a little different, and there is just really no one-size-fits-all plan for everybody to maximize your Social Security benefit. This is purely an educational workshop. I am by no means a specialist or legal or in legal or tax advice. So that's why, if I'm going to, impart any words of wisdom, any tidbits to take home from this today, is this next slide here, is the three objectives. Is one, and first and foremost, is to meet with your financial team at Howell. They are going to be able to take a full picture, snapshot picture of what's going on in your life, not only investments, but insurance, mortgage, beneficiaries, what kind of things you're going to be wanting to do with your money and legacy, all of it, the full picture. And that's why you go to them. That's why they're such strong partners. I know that they also provide tax advice. They have tax specialists. So the second piece is to definitely take those recommendations, work with somebody who can look at how it's going to affect you with taxes, and then also how that's going to work for retirement and Social Security. And then finally, to then work with the Social Security Department. The reason why that's the last piece, it's because they're just going to answer straight questions from you. They're not going to offer recommendations, not going to say, hey, have you thought about this or whatever. They're solely going to you give them a question, they're going to give you the exact answer, cookie cutter. So that's why in that order, I really feel like it's very important that you to make that full decision. Just to, during our time together, we're going to take a closer look at the Social Security program, its benefits, how those benefits may be affected by your decision of when you want to take that benefit. We'll also focus on just ex-spousal benefits, and also survivor benefits for widows and widowers. And lastly, we'll just take a look at some important considerations that need to be looked at when you're determining your plan. So as you probably think, Social Security is just a simple program. You file for benefits once you retire, and then you start collecting checks every month. the rest of your life. But the truth is there are just so many decisions to make when it comes to receiving your benefits. Those choices can affect the level of income you receive for the rest of your life, but also a huge impact on your continuing surviving spouse and their rest of their lives. So let's just take a little, start with a little history of Social Security, and then we'll just, peek into what we think future predictions are going to look like. If I was in front of everybody, I would ask you, when do you think Social Security started? Obviously, we can't do that, but it did start in 1935. FDR's first 100 days in office, he proposed the U.S. Social Security Act under his New Deal. It's one of the largest government programs ever, and it was so big, the first payments didn't even start till 1940. And so, when you think about it, started in 1935, it looked a lot different than it does now. And so a few things that was only for retired workers, only started at age 65. And the life expectancy actually the life expectancy at age in 1935 was 62. So right out of the gate, you can't even get it till you're 65. And everyone immediately started taking it because you're already past what normal life expectancy was. Today, now this covers retired workers and spouses, ex-spouses, as I said, widows, widowers, children, and then even those disabled. And we've even allowed it to start at 62. And that is all with the idea that we're now living well into our 80s. So decades longer than this was even designed. So, it is a completely, it's a lot different than what we thought it was going to be. So let's fast forward to today. For those who, first of all, it's expanded program, as I said, and it's going to, it's changed completely as I said, sorry. Next one, I wanted to kind of go over just the numbers behind it. A lot of people throwing around when we think we're going to start Social Security and when we're not. Each year, the trustees of the Social Security and Medicare Trust Funds report on the current and projected financial status of the two programs. The summary of the 2019 reports are: workers earn these benefits by paying into the system during their working years. Over the program's 84-year history, it's collected roughly 21.9 trillion and paid out roughly 19 trillion, leaving the reserves of 2.9 trillion at the end of 2018. Social Security's total cost is projected to exceed its total income in 2020 for the first time since 1982. And those are expected to continue to grow going forward. If nothing is changed, if nothing changes in DC, these reserves are projected in 2035 to be depleted, and it's to be about a shortfall of about 25,000. So when a lot of people think it's just going to be gone, actually what will happen is that it's really just going to be reduced by 25% going forward. So it'll just cut back a lot on it. So it's ever evolving. So really what I want to say that is, what we look at today as Social Security is not what it was in 1935. And, it's probably most likely not going to be what it's going to look like in 2035, 2045. So just it's ever changing, obviously. So it's always something that's kind of a moving target. So I just want to talk about determining your benefit. So here, this is really where it's going to get into the weeds. This is something definitely, if you want to touch base again with your team and how they can kind of help you with this. But this is how it's calculated. For every $1,410 of earnings, you're going to receive 1 credit. You can only get 4 credits per year. So, but that is the minimum earning requirements. So meaning if you make $60,000 a year, you get 4 credits. If you make $600,000 a year, you get 4 credits. But you basically need to have 10 years of work that you've paid into to hit the threshold. Now, how do they calculate your benefit based on that? So what they're going to look at is 40 credits is just the minimum that you receive the benefit. So Social Security is going to say, okay, what are your highest 35 years of working history? Actually, in your earnings before your age 61 will be indexed for inflation, which is nice. If you have less than 35 years of work history, though, they will just keep adding zeros. So what that means is, they're going to look at your lifetime work. You worked 40 years, they're going to rank it. The bottom lowest 5 years, they just ignore. If you worked 30 years, they rank it, and they're just going to put zeros for the last 5 years to make up to 35 years. So I'm not sure if anyone recognizes this. This is your Social Security statement. And this may look familiar. I don't know if people remember getting this in the mail. About 8 years ago, they stopped mailing these out to you if you are under the age of 60. So this is what the newest one looks like. But if you're under 60, you do go onto the website to you can check out how much you've been making and what your estimated benefits are. And why it's so good, even if you're well before you think you're going to need these, is to periodically just spot check it. Maybe they have a zero there that you did actually work, and maybe just something was there's an issue. It's best to catch it now before you need to file. You need income immediately, and then you have to go and try to just fix this at the snail pace of this, most likely this behemoth company, this behemoth department that's going to have to try to factor a bunch of stuff. So we always recommend just jump on there every so often. If you're getting them mailed, great, open them, look at them, bring them into your team, just make sure that you're always just kind of looking at it and it looks correct. On here, I just wanted to show you when we mean what is your full retirement age. It is the age of when you receive 100% of your Social Security benefits. And so based off of your years, they have changed when your full retirement age is now. It was 65 in the day. And this is just to show you, it could be months into your 65th birthday, months into your 66th birthday that you may have to wait. And so it's really just to, if you want to take a look in there and gauge it, and you can see on the right-hand side there, if you're born on January 1st of the year, you get the previous year. If you're born on the 1st of the month, it's the previous month. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure you see that and where you may fall into it. And this question really is to show you, what do you think you get if you try to draw early versus before you are at full retirement age? It's a simple answer. You earn less for life. So you have the option of doing it, but we have calculated that every month you can wait, you actually get a fraction of a percentage point more, or you get more of a payout if you can wait. Roughly, if you calculate it, it's 8% a year you wait until the age of 70, which it stops growing. And we've ran into a lot of scenarios. We've looked at it. We've talked to a lot of tax specialists. We haven't run into a scenario where you would not want to start taking it at the age of 70. So we absolutely recommend, unless you run into something crazy, start taking it at the very least at the age of 70. And so, we talk about, our benefits, but we are always worried about our loved ones. We want to make sure that they're taken care of. So, Social Security benefits are now available for spouses, ex-spouses, widows, widowers, children, and the disabled, like I mentioned. Now that we've covered some of the basics around your own, let's just take a few minutes to kind of dig into, how spousal benefits work. They are going to sound a little similar, but, they are definitely under, tax law, coded differently. So understanding the different spousal benefits and how each are paid are very important to making informed decisions with Social Security, and make sure you work with Howell Financial to help you determine your rights, especially with your spousal rights, and what makes sense for each situation. So there's 3 types. Basic spousal, as you can guess, is still married. Survivor for your widows and widowers, and ex-spousal for individuals that were married at one time. So basic spousal benefits, for married couples, a spouse is entitled to as much as half of the retired worker's benefit even if one of the spouses has never paid into the program before. Keep in mind that the individual will get the higher of their own record or their spousal benefit. You do not receive your own benefit and up to 50% of your spouse's though. For individuals who are currently married, you will receive the higher of what you are due on your own earnings record or up to 50% of your spouse's benefit at the full retirement amount. Again, though, you don't get both, it's either or. And then also, just as a little, for very few cases, but we still like to highlight it, if you were born before January 1st, 1954, you have been grandfathered in an old rule called the restricted application. And you will want to set up appointments with your team at Howell to see if this strategy could benefit you. Just want to highlight, here are as I said, the basic the requirements for the spousal benefit. First, in order to file for spousal benefit, the spouse with the higher benefit must also file for their benefits. And filing for your spousal benefits prior to full retirement age is going to reduce your benefit amount. I'm just going to highlight what that looks like. And it's really to show you 50% is your max, but you can start earlier. And if you do, it's just going to kind of proactively prorated backwards. But you do know that you can start it, and just knowing though, if you can defer, you will get more. So here's survivor benefits. So lots of, everything is going on. It's a very, very, traumatic time, but we, do need to know what's going on with survivor benefits. When a spouse passes away, the surviving spouse is entitled to the higher of the two Social Security benefits. This is called the survivor benefit. And the widow or widower is eligible for the full benefit at the survivor's full retirement age. However, they can decide to take benefits as early as 60, but the amount will be reduced by roughly 30% at that age. Additionally, if they are entitled to their own benefit, he or she can receive their survivor benefit while letting their own grow to full retirement or age 70. So really, outside of what we talked about in the beginning of meeting with the three partners, this place is where I like to emphasize it's very, very important to take this into full consideration. If you're the higher of the two wage earners, it's crucial that you choose, you make the best informed decision that's going to impact not only you, but your surviving spouse. I know I've spoken to Dane and Tyler and their team, I know has access to reporting and software that can run through all the different scenarios. Take a full picture, run through some options, see what it's going to look like. And they're more than willing and have expressed that they would love to run those for you. On this slide, I really just like to show what happens. You two people are bringing in, benefits, and one passes away. As I said, the surviving spouse gets the higher of the two, but they're going to lose the lower value. And usually what happens is their cost of living is not going to decrease by that same amount. So it's so important to talk about what happens, have something in place for when you do lose the lower value and how you're going to make up that gap. Another place is ex-spousal benefits. It's, it means that you were married previously, you may be able to draw off your spouse's record or they draw off your benefit. It's very important to know though that if you do have an ex-spouse that's drawing off your record, it will have no effect on your current spouse's benefit. Things to think about how to qualify for ex-spouse. Married at least 10 years. You're currently unmarried. You're 62 or older. Your ex-spouse is entitled to Social Security benefits, and the ex-spousal benefit is higher than your own benefit. there are some special rules that that can apply, but for the most part, that's how it works. Here's some important considerations I would want to just touch on. You know, we do think about, well, what happens if I'm over 62, I'm over 65, I'm still working. If you're planning on receiving a Social Security benefit and still want to work, you need to be aware of a rule called the earnings limit test. This rule applies if you are under full retirement age, but receiving a Social Security benefit and currently working. So it gets a little hairy with the numbers here, but just know that before the year you turn your full retirement age, the Social Security is going to reduce your benefit $1 for every $2 earned over the amount of $18,240. In the year you reach full retirement age, Social Security will reduce your benefits $1 for every $3 earned over $48,600 for months before your full retirement age. This rule does go away though when you do hit full retirement. The limits are just earned on income though, so that's nice to know. It does not apply to pensions, annuities, investment income, interest. It's just on what you're earning as income. So how do I apply for our benefits? Right now, during COVID, from what I still know, is all local offices are closed during COVID. So I'm not sure, it may change, but for right now, we do believe that's the case. The best way to do it after, you've talked to your team is to, reach out to them in person or by phone. And again, after, kind of just a wrap up here at the end, again, what I wanted to just make sure is that, we speak to our team at Howell who have tax advisors, then talk to Social Security, get all that together, and really just know that you're gonna make the most informed decision you can.
Thank you very much, Philip. That was very well done, and we really appreciate you sharing your insights on Social Security with us. I truly hope everyone enjoyed today's presentation and hope you found the content to be high impact. As we did mention before, if you do have any questions regarding today's topic, please feel free to reach out to our office by phone or email, as we'd be more than happy to discuss your individual situation further. Additionally, if you enjoyed today's presentation and would like to rewatch or share with friends and family, we will be uploading a recording of today's webinar to our website, which is howfinancialservices.com, and that'll be in the coming days. We also are hoping to host additional webinars like this in the future, so please keep an eye out for invitations in your email and on our social media sites. And finally, I just want to thank everybody again for taking time out of their day to join us. We really appreciate it, and we hope everybody has a great rest of the day. Thank you very much.